Miss Deaf Kentucky, and Miss Deaf Kansas. You look lovely tonight.
Thank you.
And again, congratulations. So we have 3 questions for you ladies. The first question I will sign, and then I will pass the card to you. You'll have a chance to read it. All 3 of you will have a chance to read it, collect your thoughts, and then you'll give us your answers. So Miss Deaf California, you'll start with the first question. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. The first question. What are the advantages and also the disadvantages to being deaf?
Well, as I see it, one of the advantages to being deaf is that we get to use sign language, of course. If you're in the library, you can be in a quiet place and sign. If you're underwater, you can use sign language. Communication can happen in so many different avenues that can happen for hearing people. I can sign anywhere, and that's one way I can take advantage of being able to talk to people in places other people can't. But I also really like to eat. And sometimes if I want to go to a drive-thru restaurant, that's something that isn't really available to me, so I can see that as a disadvantage.
I agree with you. The advantages of being deaf, we're bilingual. We sign and we can read and write English. The disadvantages, when I go to talk to people who don't know sign, I have to write back and forth. Sign language is a beautiful language.
Well, both of those were great answers. And of course, as you know, I'm an avid supporter of the theater. And I like to go to theater, but deaf theater is so wonderful. It's so inspiring and beautiful. The language is rich and nuanced and beautiful. Those hands moving. All this art happens all over the body, right there in front of you. It's gorgeous. So one of the great advantages we have is our beautiful language. And of course, a disadvantage would be the struggles that we have to go through all the time. All the confusions and miscommunications. Everybody has some sort of thing they have to go through. I think that the best thing we have is Deaf Pride. We sally forth, and that's just part of life.
Okay, so on to our second question. Suppose when you go home, you're asked to present to a group of 16-year-old deaf. What topic would you choose, and why?
That's a really good question. In my platform, I talked about deaf children. 2 years old exposure to language.
I think that they need to be exposed to the beauty of their language, and that's an important thing for them to have. And I think that 16 is a perfect age for giving workshops to children of that age about ASL and theater. Of course, in my opinion, theater is the best way to communicate different things, teaching movement, empowerment. It involves so many different things, breathing techniques, how to control yourself if you have thoughts that are impeding you, that you can be calm. I believe that it's a very empowering thing. I think that it's a way to keep people more stable. Theater is a great tool for us to use. I'd like to take your workshop personally. I believe that expressing art is very important for young people. We're so visual, we're people of the eye. And just as you talked about theater, I would like to speak specifically about including arts, poetry, anything related to expressing oneself. Because as people grow up, sometimes, especially as a deaf person, we're so limited in that capacity. I feel that it's a perfect way to break through the sort of pressures that we have and the limitations that people place upon us with the arts.
Thank you for your answers. Okay, so the third and final question. If you could meet Alexander Graham Bell, A.G. Bell, what would you tell him?
Ooh, what a big issue. It's very hot today to talk about that. I think that I believe that we're all equal. I don't believe that one group should give credence over another group. I believe that people who use their voices are fine. And I think that when I meet somebody who tends to use a voice, that's fine. But I think that we need to be inclusive. Our culture is very inclusive, and we're not just one. I believe that A.G. Bell would have to take a workshop to learn about all the different deaf people within our group. And I believe that it would be important for him to realize there's not just one way, which he believed there was. I think that it would be a better world if both languages were given parity. And I believe the key to communication is being able to have people understand that. And sometimes people just don't know, and we need to be able to let them know. I agree with that answer wholeheartedly. If I were to meet him, the first thing I would do is say, I want to show you something. And then I would take him to lots of different events where he can see deaf people in their element. All of these events, like the NAD, and people show him that people who aren't using different sorts of devices or other technologies are just as good as people who do. I believe that he needs to see there are other options and that success can be in people of all different sorts of levels of deafness.
I agree with both of you. I would like to thank him. Thank him for making us bilingual and making our culture stronger. There is the other side, but we still have to work on it. But I would thank him for that.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.